You have been singing this song for years, but do you know what it is actually about? Because Coldplay describes the story of betrayal, revolution, and execution inside these lyrics, and most people completely miss it. If you want to expand your vocabulary and want to know the story behind this masterpiece, stay with me, because I'm going to break it down in detail. I used to ruin the word. Sis will rise when I give the word. Before we get into the story, let's take a look at the grammar first. Used to is the phrase that was regularly used in the past but not anymore. For example, I used to live in New York. I lived there before, but now I don't. I used to jog in the morning. I did it regularly, but now I don't. But there are other cases, used to or get used to. You can use it for becoming familiar with something new. It's like unpleasant or uncomfortable, but over time you will adapt. For example, waking up early is very difficult, but you will get used to it. Which means at first it's hard, but over time it will get easier. Therefore, I used to rule the world means I was very powerful person. Just one command, I could move armies and raise the sea. But now, that's all gone. Now in the morning, I sleep alone. Sweep the street, I used to own. These are metaphors which are not literal descriptions. The line highlights the sudden change of person's circumstances who lost everything and becomes lonely. From commanding the world to being completely alone, doing the work of commoner on the streets he once owned. That was total loss, total humiliation. I used to roll the dice, feeling the fears in enemies' eyes. Do you know the phrase of rolling the dice? In English, it means taking decisions or taking risks with uncertain outcomes, leaving the result up to the chance, or aka gambling. Those lines means he was powerful enough to make big decisions and making others feel afraid because of his strong influence. The fears in enemies' eyes. This was someone who made big and bold decisions and trembled the world because of it. Do you see the apostrophe mark after enemies? In grammar, it refers to belonging. It is like Eddie's house, my sister's phone, dog's tail. But because the suffix ends with s, we only add apostrophe mark at the end of the word. For example, boss car, enemy's eyes, band's performance. Long live the king is often used to express when the old king is dead and the new one will have a long and successful reign as the beginning of the new ruler.
Long live the king! Long live the king!
It signals that this person's time is ending and the new ruler is about to replace him. 1 minute I held the key. Holding a key symbolizes authority and control. The moment he lost the key, everything around him collapsed instantly, and I discovered my castle stands upon pillar of salt and pillar of sands, which means the foundation is very weak. The castle was made of salt and sands, which were very easy to fall apart. Those lines are actually metaphorical sentences. So here's the literal meaning. The power that looks secure and strong is actually weak and fragile. It's common with the lyrics that actually don't follow the grammar rules in order to fit the flow and the musicality of the song. I hear Jerusalem bells are ringing, Romans cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, sword and shield, missionaries for my foreign field. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate. Silver plate equals bounty. Think about it this way. When someone hands you something on a silver plate, it means they are presenting it to you as a gift, something precious, something celebrated. So when the king says, "Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate," he means his death is a gift for the people have been waiting for. His execution is not just for punishment, it is a celebration, it's a trophy, the new beginning of a revolution. Now here's what really gets interesting, the story behind these lyrics. It's about the loss of power in general. It could be a king, a president, a leader, or a powerful person. Since the album itself used Liberty Leading People by Eugene Delacroix, which was related to King Louis. King Louis. I forgot how to spell Louis or Louis. Please correct me if I'm wrong. King Louis XVI. He was sentenced to death due to his failure to govern the country. Louis XVI loved locksmithing as hobby since childhood, but he was not prepared to be a king after his grandfather's death, leaving the France in financial crisis. And his older brother, the original heir, died young. So, Louis never received a proper training for the throne. That's why in the lyrics, there's a line, "Oh, who will ever wanna to be a king?" Wanna is slang for want to. Wanna, want to. This line describes the atmosphere or the tension during the execution of King Louis XVI. Once you gone, it was never an honest word. That's when I ruled the world. You're gone is the contraction of you had gone. Past perfect tense. Something to describe in the past that happened before certain event. But beyond the grammar, the meaning here is really painful. After his fall, the king began to realize that his entire structure of his power was actually built on dishonesty. The people around him told him only what he wanted to hear. The truth only became clear once it was too late. Sorry to interrupt, I just made additional research and discovered that this also pictures the atmosphere and the tension during execution of King Louis XVI. His last words were not recorded in the story since it was overwhelmed by the sounds of drums and roaring crowds. So we don't even know what he was trying to say. It was lost and buried by the history. So what did we learn today? For grammar, used to, be used to, plus get used to. Idioms like roll the dice, or metaphors like pillar of salt and pillar of sand, and the phrase "Long live the king." Viva La Vida is not just a song, it's history lesson. Power that looks permanent, actually it's not. Do you get a different POV after watching this video? I'll see you in the next one.